Welcome to this week's edition of Leading with Confidence. My name is Confidence Seleme and I'm your host. This program is proudly powered by the William Seleme Foundation, and the foundation's mission is enabling education in Africa. This week, I'd like us to talk on a topic I've titled Turning Our Leadership Mirrors into Leadership Windows. It was legendary businessman and author Jack Welch who said, "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." Close quote. The reason so many leaders are self-centered is because they have not yet discovered themselves. They are still searching for themselves, and so everything that happens must be about them. If all you do is about gratifying you, then you have not reached a level where you can call yourself an authentic leader. Perhaps you have a title, but that title is merely a shell. Self-centeredness is the mark of a hollow and shallow person, and it is a trait that no leader should have. The mirror is a good place to start because it prepares you for leadership. It helps you discover yourself so that you can be of use to society and to mankind. But we mustn't get stuck looking in the mirror. Imagine if you were to spend the whole day in front of the mirror, you would never get anything done. Some leaders are ineffective because they spend their leadership looking in the mirror. They see the people they lead as mere makeup artists who exist to make them look good so that they can like what they see in the mirror. Leaders who are confident in who they are don't get stuck looking in the mirror. They don't need everyone and everything around them to be constantly validating them. To be stuck is to be paralyzed, and paralysis speaks of immobility. Many leaders wonder why their leadership isn't moving or growing. They wonder why their influence isn't growing and why they're not being more effective. If your leadership is self-centered, you have created a huge barrier for growth. No matter how talented or gifted you are, you will not grow to command greater influence if people are not being served by your leadership. If you find yourself stuck in front of the mirror, you must begin moving. You must move from thinking only of yourself and begin thinking about others. If you want your leadership to progress, you must turn your mirror into a window. When you do this, you will see your leadership grow, your influence will grow, and you'll become more effective. Mirrors are about being reflective. Windows are about widening our perspective. When you look into a mirror, you are able to see what's behind you. This is quite useful, especially when driving a car. It's important for a leader to look back and reflect on their journey. Reflecting is a meditative practice in that it allows us to zone in on specific past events or past times and thoroughly interrogate them. Through reflecting, we're able to recognize the significance of the events and times we're reflecting on. Reflecting reminds you of where you've been and gives you a sense of gratitude for where you are. Leaders should reflect regularly. Perhaps at the end of each day or each week, you can set aside a couple of minutes and think on the day or the week that has been. Reflecting will develop a greater sense of appreciation for your life journey. As a leader, it will make you a better student of life and of leadership because reflecting allows you to take it all in. It gives you a chance to consciously absorb events, and when you do this, you are able to garner more learnings from them. When you reflect more, you learn more. Reflecting allows you to measure the progress you've made along your journey. But some leaders are unable to progress because they've made great monuments and shrines out of their past victories and successes. They've built big statues, and those statues are in their way, preventing them from moving forward. They sit and admire their statues, and they tell everybody about those statues. They have golden cows, as such monuments are sometimes referred to. They dance around their golden cows, and they forget that there is yet more for them to achieve. They fail to recognize the fact that their golden cows are distracting them from doing and becoming more. As leaders, we must use our mirrors to reflect, but we must invest greater focus on the future than we do on the past. A leader who sees the past as more important than the future will always live life limited. They will always be limited because they are always looking and thinking on things they have no power to change. They will be limited because they will be underutilizing their power to form and pursue their vision. Visionaries are always looking ahead. They are always planning their next big move, and they are always constructing the next big thing. When you turn mirrors into windows, you adopt a visionary spirit. Mirrors reflect back an image to us, but windows are transparent and allow us to see a bigger external picture. If you are in a room, the mirror will only show you what's in the room, but the window will show you so much more. The window will show you the ever-changing world on the outside. It will show you the homeless man, the wealthy lady being chauffeured, the friendly shopkeeper. When we choose to turn our mirrors into windows, our perspectives on life are enlarged. We become more knowledgeable about life and the issues that pertain to it. We become greater people. We become wiser and more approachable. We cease being overly reclusive and we become more inclusive. Turning our mirrors into windows not only widens our perspectives, it also deepens our perspectives. It makes us people of greater gravitas. It makes us feel more. What else do you see in the world except you? Who else do you see? Do you feel only for yourself or do you feel for others as well? Are you only concerned about your problems or do you care about the problems of others? When we begin asking ourselves these types of questions, it's an indication of our growth and maturity as leaders. It's an indication that we're turning our mirrors into windows. There are more windows than mirrors. If we look around you in your house or at your place of work, you'll see that there are more windows than mirrors. If there are more mirrors than windows, then it's a cause for concern. It may mean that the people in that space are too preoccupied with themselves. It may mean that they are self-absorbed. A house should never have more mirrors than windows. A person should never be so consumed with themselves that they forget that there are others who also matter. When there are more windows than mirrors, it's a signal of good balance. Most times when we think or talk of balance, we create an image that looks similar to Lady Justice holding the scales where two sides are equal in weighting. But if your house has the same number of mirrors as it does windows, it creates an imbalance. The greatest leaders the world has ever known were all men and women who had a good mirror-window ratio. The likes of Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and many others who occupied the halls of leadership greatness were all people who knew themselves, but their focus was towards causes that were greater than themselves. If they were to be too mirror-focused, they would have never achieved the feats that they achieved. They would have never cared the way they did. They would have never sacrificed the way they did. As a leader, your mirror-to-window ratio will have an impact on how great you become and will impact how you are remembered. When you look inside your internal house, your heart, are there more mirrors than windows? If that is the case, it will benefit you and your leadership greatly if you begin putting down some of those mirrors so that you can have more time looking through the windows. Windows bring in light. One of the wonderful functions of windows is that they bring in light. Light speaks of insight, of vision, and illumination. Leaders who are window-focused have a greater sense of vision because by looking through the window, they are able to see beyond the narrow rooms of self-centeredness and they are exposed to the vast landscape that exists. Yes, vision can begin inside of you, but if your vision is based on your sole benefit, how much of a vision is it really? If your vision is mirror-focused, it may be too small. Leaders who look through the window tend to be brighter people because looking through the window allows you to study the world. You get to learn how the world works, how people respond to various things, and as you learn more, you grow more. When you grow more, you become like a fruitful tree that is able to feed the hungry. You are able to create mass beneficiation and your leadership is elevated to greater heights. When you are able to serve not just yourself but the many, you will surely become great. Where there is no light, darkness prevails. When you are too focused on self, you are distracted from the problems and issues in the world which need your skills and talent. There are solutions you have that the world needs, but if you are always looking in the mirror, you will not see the problems and the solutions you hold will remain hidden within you. It was the Irish author Edmund Burke who said, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." Close quote. Sometimes people are blind to prevailing darkness because they spend too much looking in the mirror and not enough time looking through the window. Windows bring in fresh air. Another great function of windows is that they bring in fresh air. Fresh air speaks of renewed hope, and an invigoration of life. Without air or oxygen, things die. When you are too focused on the mirror, you deny yourself the vital oxygen that one gets from dedicating time to looking through and opening the window. People who are too self-absorbed tend to become depressed easier. They spend so much time thinking about their own problems and their own shortcomings that it overwhelms their spirits. They also begin having an irrational sense of self-importance, and they become too big in their own eyes. When you are too big and too important in your own eyes, your ego will suffocate your relationships. If every conversation has to be about you, nobody will want to be around you. A leader who shows interest in others is a breath of fresh air. They are fun and interesting to be around, and they become more effective in their leadership. If you notice that your relationships are dying, check if it's not because you are too self-centered. If your hope is diminishing, check whether it's because of the amount of time you spend focusing on your own issues. Yes, if you have issues that need to be confronted, confront them, but don't live your life standing in front of the mirror. Some of the solutions to your problems may be lurking not in front of the mirror, but through the window. If you were to change from looking in the mirror to looking through the window, you could change your life for the better. Windows signal liberation. We should never become prisoners of our mirrors. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the things that prisoners are subjected to is being confined to one place. If you are confined to your mirror, you are a prisoner of your mirror. If you are self-centered, you are a prisoner of yourself. Many people are prisoners walking free. They may not have chains around their hands or ankles, but make no mistake about it, they are prisoners. Many are prisoners to their own perceptions about themselves. It is their own opinion about who they are that is holding them back. It holds them back from dreaming the dreams they want to dream. It holds them back from pursuing the goals they want to pursue, and it enslaves them, disabling them from living their best lives. People go to prison for different offenses. Likewise, people who are prisoners of their mirrors are in that state because of different reasons. Some people are prisoners of their mirrors because of their low opinions of themselves. When leaders have sound self-knowledge, they are liberated from the low self-esteem that seeks to pull them and their leadership down. Being stuck at the mirror can be an indication of low self-esteem, but when you are able to turn the mirror into a window, it indicates liberation from those self-demeaning, self-condemning thoughts. Another reason people become imprisoned by the mirrors is the opinions of other people. The reason so many people spend so much time looking in the mirror is because they have been told by others that they are not worthy. They spend all their time looking in the mirror, not because they want to study themselves and become better versions of themselves. They are there because they want so and so to like them. They look in the mirror so they can change their appearance to suit what somebody else wants them to be. They turn away from who they are so that they can please others. You can spend an awfully long time in front of the mirror looking for blemishes that other people have told you that you have. Do not live your life shackled by the opinions of others. Do not allow what others have said about you to keep you in front of the mirror and keep you overly preoccupied with yourself. As a leader, you need to be able to get over yourself so that you can become more effective in your leadership. Yes, when you are able to turn your mirror into a window, it is a sign that you are receiving your liberation from self-doubt and liberation from the opinions of others. Think carefully about why you spend the time you do looking in the mirror and make sure that it's for the right reasons. Do not become obsessed with the mirror, rather, become passionate about turning your mirror into a window. Windows give our leadership purpose. Purpose is the primary thing we must seek before we begin doing anything. If you don't know why you're doing a particular thing, you might as well not do it. If what we spend our time, our talents, and other resources on isn't motivated by a bigger reason, then we will not have the necessary inspiration to do it to the best of our abilities. If you do not know the purpose of leadership, you will not be an effective leader. Before we can desire to be leaders, we must seek the purpose of leadership. I can almost hear you asking, what is the purpose of leadership? Well, we've been speaking about it for some time now. We mentioned that true leadership is and will always be about serving. If you're not in leadership to be of service, then you shouldn't be in leadership. Service-oriented leaders make a positive impact on the world. They know that their talents, abilities, and influence are instruments that must be used to create positive change in the world. That positive change may be in the private sector, in politics, in music, in communities, in the family, and so forth. I heard one man say that you must grow where you are planted, close quote. Great leaders make a positive impact in the particular sphere where they've been planted. So many times we seek to go to a different place and end up displacing ourselves. Wherever you are, seek to make a positive change there. So many leaders want to be trusted with leading 1 million people, but they have not proven themselves by being faithful with the 1,000 that are in their care. Perhaps you have a vision of becoming a leader of great influence. In life, we are seldom given trees. Many times we are given seeds. The purpose of the seed is to train your character so that when you eventually have the tree, it will not overwhelm you. When you are given the seed, you will need to sow it, cultivate it, and nurture it until it reaches maturity. This process will produce in you certain character traits such as patience, perseverance, and love. These character traits will become part of your weaponry as you ascend in your leadership. What you learn climbing up the mountain will help sustain you when you reach the mountain top. One of the popular quotes by former South African President Nelson Mandela says, "After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb," close quote. The patience you learn as you climb one hill will become your aid as you begin ascending another greater hill. One success leads to another, and with more success comes more influence as well as more demands on you. More success may demand more of your time and more of your effort. Running requires more effort than walking, but if you give the necessary effort in walking your best walk, you will have the stamina necessary so you can run your best run. When you turn the mirror into a window, you turn yourself into a leader. Turning the mirror into a window is about turning me into we. The measure of a true leader is their compassion towards others. Becoming a leader is something that each of us can do. We just have to fill our hearts with more compassion towards others. I wrote in one of my books that if you find your cause in life, you will find your course in life. A course speaks of a way, a route, a road. If you desire to become a leader and you're looking for the route that will get you there, find a cause that pulls at your heartstrings and begin investing your time and talent into helping alleviate the struggles and sufferings in that particular sphere. When you begin doing this, you will have started the process of turning your mirror into a window and turning yourself into a leader. When you have a cause that is propelling and motivating you, it causes your energy levels to rise. It stirs up your passion and causes you to run with more vigor and more oomph. It puts a spring in your step and a bounce in your walk. You will look forward to mornings because mornings will become signals of not only a brand new day, but a brand new opportunity to pursue that which has captivated your heart. Whilst others are complaining about Mondays, you will look forward to them. When you have a cause, your view on life becomes greatly different from those who have not found their cause. You start seeing the petty things for what they are, and you cease to become concerned with that which has no significance. You stop majoring in the minor, as one writer put it. When you see people being moved by every little thing, getting upset by every little statement, it is highly possible that they haven't found a greater cause into which they can invest their energies. Having a cause makes you more careful about what you pour your energy into because you know that every ounce of energy is important. Those who have important battles to fight don't spend their time and resources on meaningless street fights. When there is something greater that you are chasing, your run is different from those who are merely chasing the winds and vain pursuits. You live life on a different, more fulfilling level. Chasing purpose is much more than chasing money or fame. Those things look like they are capable of fulfilling you, but in reality, they are meaningless if there is no cause attached to them. When you have money or fame but don't have a cause, that money or fame becomes a tool that is just uselessly lying around when it could be picked up and used to accomplish so much. When you turn the mirror into a window, you widen and deepen your influence. We mentioned earlier that turning our mirrors into windows not only widens our perspectives, it also deepens our perspectives. Turning our mirrors into windows widens and deepens our influence as well. It was the American author and management expert Kenneth Blanchard who said, "The key to success in leadership today is influence, not authority." Close quote. Influence is the rudder of your leadership. Just like a rudder steers a ship, influence allows you to steer the behavior and opinions of people. Influence is a leadership tool that should be used for the good benefit of those you lead. It should not be used for selfish gain. Turning the mirror into a window is essentially about turning your heart away from selfish ambition and turning it towards collective vision. Leaders with this type of disposition have greater influence on those they lead. When people see that you authentically care for them, they will give you a greater degree of trust, and when you have the trust of the people, you can influence them on a deeper level. Trust gives you access to a deeper level of the human psyche. It is the access card to people's essence. When you are trusted, you come to know the weightier things about people because they will be able to confide in you. Again, I must emphasize the importance of having a pure heart so that you do not abuse your influence and misuse the trust that people have in you. When you are faithful with the trust given to you by a few, many more will come to trust you. This is how your influence widens. The depth of your influence is measured by the degree of trust people have in you, but the width of your influence is measured by the number of people who trust you to lead them. The greatest leaders are able to garner trust, and with the trust, they are able to influence not only widely, but deeply as well. Trust is gained through authentic compassion towards others. Your talent and abilities may get you into a leadership position, but without compassion towards other people, you will not become a true leader. You will not get the trust necessary for you to become deeply and widely influential. Authentic compassion towards people takes your leadership into a higher dimension. This dimension is called purposeful leadership. This is the kind of leadership that outlives the leader. It is the kind of leadership that does so much for the people that its impact spans over generations. Purposeful leadership is sacrificial in its nature. It is so dedicated to its cause that it makes the necessary sacrifices for that cause. It is my deep desire that this emerging generation of new leaders be leaders who turn their mirrors into windows. It is my heartfelt belief that this new breed of leaders will live out their leadership role of helping and serving humanity. It is my sincere hope that this podcast will help contribute towards encouraging this new wave of leaders to lead with purpose and with impact. Thank you so much for tuning in to Leading with Confidence. Till next time, cheers.